Welcome to another episode of Fantasy Reality. And this episode, we're going to talk about traveling. Now, I know I talked a little bit about traveling in a previous episode, but let's talk about what travelers would actually be doing while traveling. Specifically, when their lives aren't on the line. And let's take a look at the average traveler, and what would these people actually be doing when they're not fighting monsters or bandits or other threats to the world. Well, let's start with what they'd be doing on travel. And if you've ever been on the road for hours and hours on end, let me tell you, it can get boring. I recently had a trip, to New England, went fishing with my brothers. It was quite fun. And, saw a couple of places I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise. It's quite nice. Still, you sit in a car in the back, and you better hope you have a charger for your music player or whatever it is you're using, and that way you can hopefully at least listen to something and maybe have a book to read. Trust me, I did a lot of that. But what would a traveler in a fantasy world do? Well, if you're walking, you're probably going to be walking. I don't see you listening to music or singing music. People singing music when you're walking, I don't see that too often. Especially if you're alone. And it's a little bit breezy. Need to get a better stand or something for this thing, so that way it can at least support itself. Still, like I said, I don't see the person walking. I don't see them really doing much other than maybe, okay, let's keep an eye out this way, keep an eye out this, and because of practical reasons. On the other hand, let's say that they were in a cart, somebody else is doing the driving, or maybe they take shifts over who's controlling the horses. What would they be doing then? Well, let's say you're a mage, or perhaps someone who's literate in this world. Yes, I could see you reading a book. If you're a mage, so that's how you do the level 5 fireball spell. Okay. Good to know. If you're a mage, if you're a fighter, you might be learning about, okay, the best way to kill this particular monster is to stab him. Seriously? You have to stab him in the base of the tail? Strange place to stab him, but okay. And of course, if you're a thief sort, ooh, so that's where that king buried his treasure. Oh, let's see, what's the traps he's got? Oh, nice. I could see, if you're, like I said, if you're literate, I could see people reading. Especially if you're a mage, I could definitely see mages reading. Yeah. Definitely, they're reading. After all, if they go to universities, they have to at least know how to read. And everybody else, you can at least assume they have a general understanding on how to read. Maybe, okay, they kind of have to use a finger in order to track the lines. Okay, I can see them doing that. I got major wind going on. And I'm not going can at peak. But at the very least, to keep the camera somewhat safe. Probably lose my head, as it were, but better that than see this camera fall down onto the ground. Like I said, I could see the mage is definitely doing a lot of reading. Another thing I can see the group doing is quite literally telling stories about people they've heard about the monsters, about the legends, about the stories. We do this sort of thing in our time, in our world. Another thing that could be done is singing. Singing folklore songs, or I mean, for instance, a lot of us, at least in the United States, know the song "Take Me Out to the Ball Game, take me out to the crowds, give me some Cracker Jack," that sort of thing. And I mean, most everybody knows that. So it wouldn't be implausible for a group of people who at least share a common culture to at least know the same sorts of songs that anybody can just get a group of 10 guys, get a group of 4 or 5 guys, and they can just harmonize with the best of them, which is quite interesting. Playing games like some people do with a cell phone, I don't really see that happening. Unless somehow there's like an industrialized magic where it's like, oh, magic ball, they let you play games. Oh yeah, I can see that. That's just a whole lot of fun, playing some sort of game. Oh yeah, I could see them doing that. They have set up specialized magic balls. They let you play some sort of game where you're a warrior, you're a mage, and you're an archer, and you're fighting off a horde of bad guys. Yeah, I could see them doing that sort of game. They kind of lampshades what they're might be doing, but I could see that going on. Now, but let's take them into town. Well, as you might notice, I got a new hat. Looks like a shark took a bite out of it, doesn't it? Well, let me get you up close a little bit. See? Looks like a shark took a bite out of this thing. Capitalizes on the whole Jaws thing. And I'll be honest, I like creature movies, that sort of stuff, but well, like I said, I can see these guys. They go to a town, and I can see them buying tourist type stuff, like any other tourist. I can see them go into a store. I can see them buying the proverbial, I went to this place and bought this T-shirt sort of thing. And in this case, I got a hat that has a shark bite. Well, actually, my mother was the one that did it. She thought I'd like it. I'm not complaining. I think it's kind of cool. My stepfather said otherwise, but my mother, she buys it, she thinks I like it, and I wore it throughout the whole vacation, okay? But, like I said, I can see these guys, they might buy some of the, quote, local, some of the local items, you know. Would you like a local hat? Yes, I'll buy this local hat. Buy this local set of armor. Yeah, I could see him doing that. You know, would you like to buy this local exotic food and pay buku bucks for it? Yeah, I can see him doing that. I can see him doing that. I can see these guys acting like most tourists do these days. You know, paying way too much for things that they should not have bought. But what tourist doesn't do that? And I can also see them doing things. You know, I can see them going to the local monuments of fallen local heroes, paying their respects. I can see them doing that. I can see them fishing. I can see them doing that. I could possibly see them going, you know, just taking in the sights in general, really. You know, like most of us. I could see them do that sort of thing quite easily. You know, and sometimes, of course, the real trick is like, how do you incorporate that into your own adventures? That's kind of cool too. One book I read a little while back called Villains by Necessity by Eve Forward. It's about a group of leftover villains who are trying to save the world by releasing evil back into it. It's a little complicated, but basically evil is all but wiped out, and that's causing an imbalance. And basically it's up to these leftover villains to save the world by releasing evil back into it. But there is more than a few spots where there's like a calm, nothing's going on, forces of good are a ways away from our villains, and they just have some time to relax. So, what do these guys do? Well, there's times when it's like, hey, minstrel, you sing us a tune, you know, something good that we can at least sleep to. Just nothing too happy, okay? So if you know something sad and dreadful, please do sing that. Or maybe they're playing cards, and there's even a scene where they're all playing cards, and it's like, are you sure you're not cheating? I can't tell if you're bluffing or not. Of course I'm cheating. Can't you see I have this lovely bird that can see what you are doing? You know, they're just playing cards, you know, it's like, and where everybody's clearly cheating. And they all know that, and more than likely, they know that they're cheating. And it's like, okay, who's gonna out-cheat who? And then there's even another scene where the thief, he gets into a bit of trouble, has to run from a couple of guys, and then the sorceress of the group, at the moment, she's finds herself unable to use her magic, so she grabs a chamber pot, throws it on the pursuers, knocks them out. Thief guy gets away, and the pursuers, they're unable to find the thief, so it's like, let's just get on it. The pursuers, you don't need to worry about them. Nothing happens to them other than some embarrassment. And basically, our thief talks to the sorceress like, can I take you out to dinner? Sure. You know, that happens. It's quite, you know, sort of things that most travelers might do, you know. Or at the very least, you're just being polite to the person that just saved your behind. That's a good idea. Especially when she's known to throw lightning balls. You always want to be nice to them ones. You never know when you might need them. Yeah. Couple, let's see here. That was quite fun. And yeah, it's quite, and you can actually incorporate, like I said, you can even incorporate the stuff into your stories, like have a scene, like I said, like the card example. You have your fighter. He's like, I am honest, I do not cheat. Maybe I can do bluffing. And of course you got your thief. Yeah, he might cheat, He might have a little card catcher's thingy. He can use the snake right up his sleeve, steal a good card, retract it down in, and then when he's got a hand, it's like, okay, trigger up that little ace, as it were. It's like, oh yes, I have at least I have 3 aces now. And then of course you got your mage. I could possibly see him doing some cheating too. 4 aces. Imagine what's gonna happen when they put down their cards. It's like, how in the world did you get 4 aces? I know I have 3 of them. I have 1 ace myself. I also have the king, the queen, the jack, and a 10. And I played honestly. That one would be funny. That'd be funny. Like I said, there's a whole lot of, and then like another possibility is like maybe they're fishing. That actually has some useful things in there, because one, maybe they're trying to get food, or maybe there's some sort of ring down in the river that they're trying to fish out. I can see that as a plausibility. There's all kinds of things that could be done. So, you don't need to have stretches of boredom. You can at least put in a few small little things that can at least break up the monotony of travel. And of course, like I said, you take them into town. You can act like a tourist almost. Having them buy maybe a nice hat like this. Well, maybe a crazy hat. Or some sort of crazy set of clothes. Or go to some sort of restaurant, eat the local food. Only they'll find out, okay, do not eat that. Or, that's really good. Wish it was in my area more often. And visiting the local sites, it's just kind of fun, You don't necessarily need to have fights in order to have an adventure, after all. Well, that's it for this episode of Fantasy Reality. See you next time.